Hey, my name is Madison Ross and I'm a painter. I specialize in portraits in the mediums of either acrylic or oil, but most of the time right now I'm leaning towards oil. And right now, how my life is doing, I'm constantly in a state of learning as I go. But also in the thing of like, in the medium of being drained, figuring stuff as I go, but just with a sigh. I love the city. I'm originally from San Diego, California, but what I like about this city is that the independence around it, which I feel like a lot of people can relate to. Um, but I like that I can literally do anything here. Like, if there's a will, there's a way to get the step done, which I love. And also, like, particularly with Brooklyn, I don't know, there's a type of community about it. Like, I found you here, that was sweet. Like, you can just make do, and people with the similar goals can make do, and so I love that sense of energy around, particularly Brooklyn. To be an artist here, I also feel like, and to be surrounded here by other artists, I definitely feel like it goes to the philosophy of like personalism, like you are an extension of your community, or community is an extension of yourself. My art for me, I feel like is an expression of the people I'm with. Besides these two, the other portraits that I'm currently doing are people who I know, and goes to the meaning of you are an extension of your community, and you are who you are with. Um, and I really am just expressing the cool people in my life, the cool black women in my life, whether it be like friends or family, and really showing the beauty in that. Like being thankful for the things that I have currently, even though there's like so many things that are going on, but just being able to take in the moment and just be thankful that you have these moments to cherish at that time. I feel like I got back into the craft of like painting during the pandemic, which is like for everyone, a lot of things changed, a lot of things went to shit, it still is going to shit. Um, I lost my job in May, but then got picked up again in July, August. And so it's a huge thing of change for a lot of people for a lot of reasons of things. And one of the things, at least for change of me picking up, was re picking up painting, because this was a thing of expression. Like, there's a particular piece, or at least in the beginning, this piece and another piece is literally of a woman like breathing out, looking up, and just like uh, basically it's me saying like, what the fuck, ugh, I hate it here. um, that those were the kind of expressions, at least what I was doing in 2020. So my process mainly consists of like girl hangs with whomever. Like with Chelsea and Sukaina, this was like, hey, you want to go out for lunch, and then I take your photo, and we'd go to like say somewhere in like Dumbo or Greenpoint where something has like excess light. Like I want to play with light hitting their skin, and I mainly use this simple point and shoot camera film, and just go to town, and we have fun with it. We have conversations while we're doing it, and really I'm just trying to get them in their most natural element, but also like feeling themselves, that type of element. And it's like a fun like day, and most of the time of those conversations we have is like all bottled up into that piece. I definitely think it works in clusters. Like sometimes I'll have like a work high of, or I have like a vibe that I'm very much crazy about, working on a certain section of a piece. I never want to leave an artwork or take a break from an artwork unless it's like at a good finishing point where I can take a break. Like if I mess up someone's face, I'm not gonna leave it messed up. I need to make sure that it's like cleaned up, or at least like a good breaking point I can leave it at before um, taking a break from it. Because if then if I leave something or something that I feel like is messed up or not in the right direction, or where I feel like if I eventually return back to it, I'll have to do more correcting, that feels kind of shitty for me to work with. I know there was a time where, say, I had someone's eyes like looking not correct, like one eye looking much bigger than the other, and I just left it like that, like a little shit. And now looking at it, if I'm ever walking by, I'm just like, I don't want to work on this. Like it doesn't look like the person, and so, I kind of want to make sure that I like lead by example for my future selves, to make sure I leave everything pristine. I need to learn to handle myself more with grace because I have heavy imposter syndrome. In the beginning, I was charging very laughable rates because I imagine with anyone starting something new, especially commodifying it, they want to be, or they underestimate the value of work they produce. And so I was charging very small rates. And I remember my first commission piece, um, when I charged them, they were like, "That's it."
We say the number with somebody else who's in that spot.
Let's just say they gave me a like half of the original invoice, additionally a half of the additional. Sorry, let's just say, like, take. Let's just say that in addition to the invoice they paid, they gave me a huge tip with the quote in the Shopify and the email saying, like, increase your rates. So I guess how I do my commission rates now, I break it down between like variable rates versus fixed rates. My variable fees consist of my supplies of what I mentioned, like the canvas, the paints, the easel. I'm like charging the easel because it's like someone renting out to use the easel in this 90-day lead time, basically. In terms of like my fixed fees, this consists of the commission fee, and the hourly time in that 90-day lead time that I'm charging. Count everything, get the receipts for everything. So you know that like all the work that you put into it actually has like a number to it. It's not just a feeling. Or if you're wondering how to not add to the value, but simply like justify the value, look at the receipts. That was actually like one of my first commission pieces, so I was thinking like, no, I want to make sure that I'm nice. I want to be making sure that like since I'm a beginner, I was still thinking of myself as a beginner. I don't want to charge these high rates because they'll be thinking like, yo, you don't know what you're talking about. When since then and now I'm now in a stage of like, yo, I do know what I'm talking about, and I do know that shit's expensive. There's definitely more people who look like me in the paintings I do. I was very much the token in schools, so most of the time my subject work would be very not people who look like me. And so actually seeing big versions of black women on here, that's like, ooh, that's right. That kind of energy has more of a connection around it. So I feel like my past self, like, who didn't paint these things, would be like, wow, this is an option, or I never would have known. Which is one of the things I am very happy that I came to in New York. I came here for college, and but like for Brooklyn in particular, it's really nice to like be around people who look like you, because it builds like a sense of community. Being the only chip in the cookie does not make a good cookie. It really affects you mentally. It really limits your options or possibilities. Yeah. So I would say that's good growth. Self-love. Has increased. Our realism has increased. But highly, I would say like the self-love has increased in terms of like my paintings. You can see it from here.